What's going on, everybody? I am back to break down the 7-game NBA DFS slate on DraftKings and FanDuel. Excited to get into the breakdown after the All-Star break, giving you guys the top picks to get you in that green cash line tonight. As always, guys, don't forget to stay tuned to the end of the video for my lock of the night, fan favorite segment on the channel, the guy that I'd be locking in my lineup on both websites if I had to pick just one guy. And if you enjoyed the content, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future content that I upload. I'll be here all NBA DFS season long, breaking down these NBA DFS slates to help you guys become better NBA DFS players, help you get in that cash line every night. I do offer a premium content package as well if you're interested. That's linked below in the description, patreon.com/KJK_DFS. DraftKings FanDuel, Prize Picks, and NBA combo package. So, without further ado, guys, let's get into it. Let's go game by game here. The first game on the slate, we have Cleveland taking on Detroit. We already got confirmation there is no Karis LeVert in this one. There is no Darius Garland in this one. So, with those guys being out, Rajon Rondo, Brandon Goodwin, Chetty Osman, Lamar Stevens, all going to see more minutes, and Lauri Markkanen expected to be back as well, listed as probable. This game comes in with a 209 over-under, so for that reason, not exactly the top fantasy point environment, but the fact of the matter is with all these injuries, there could be some value to go around here for sure. Rajon Rondo, only 3.9 over here on DraftKings, certainly a very good fantasy point per minute producer. If he's going to get a full allotment of minutes, we saw him most recently in the game where he got a start and played 33 minutes, put up 40.75 DraftKings points. That's the type of upside that this guy has. And a 3.9 price tag, that's just going to be too cheap on this slate to start things off. Isaac Okoro's only 3.3, and then like I said, Lauri Markkanen, Kevin Love off the bench, I certainly think is a reasonable play if you'd like to pivot to going there. And overall, there's just going to be a lot of uses to go around. Chetty Osman, another guy that we just discussed. If you want to go to Chetty Osman, I certainly do think that makes some sense. He's been producing at a pretty high rate here, and the minutes should be up. But I mean, most notably, Evan Mobley, Jared Allen are going to get the biggest bumps. I do think Evan Mobley is my favorite of the two. He's a little bit cheaper, a little bit more of a versatile, scorer on the wing, that kind of thing, so that the usage can actually, be in his favor. Jared Allen, good player, but overall, just more of a traditional big rebounder. Less frequently does he just, go out there and can get buckets from all over the field like an Evan Mobley. So that's my approach there. Running it back on the other side with the Detroit side, it's pretty simple for me, but it's Cade Cunningham, it's Saddiq Bey, it's Jeremiah Grant. Those three guys you can really lock in and follow up by Isaiah Stewart. And Cade Cunningham's price very friendly at a 6.6 price tag. I know the pace isn't quite there. Saddiq Bey, once again, price very friendly at 6.5. Jeremiah Grant, 5.9. So it's more of a pricing thing. Definitely some better spots as far as a pace spot on this slate tonight, but on DraftKings specifically, the pricing is really good there. We'll talk about FanDuel as we run out the video and we run things back, but DraftKings, those guys looking price very friendly. And then Brandon Goodwin, 4K. We already talked about it, but with all these guards being out, he could be a very intriguing play here. So Boston taking on Brooklyn, second game on the slate. This game comes in with a 213.5 over-under to 7-point spread in favor of the Boston Celtics, so expected to stay somewhat close to the 7-point spread, especially considering the big three is out for Brooklyn Nets. We aren't going to see them quite make their debut yet. Simmons, Irving, Durant, all out. What does that mean? Obviously, a lot more uses to go around. For Seth Curry, for Cam Thomas, for Patty Mills, all of which going to be intriguing tournament options for that reason. Don't exactly get the best possible matchup with the Boston Celtics having some pretty good wing defenders, but the price tag's low. The prices are plenty low enough to where we could be targeting them is the bottom line here. So Andre Drummond at 6'3", I do think is the most intriguing play of the bunch. When he's not limited, he's one of the top most elite rebounders in the league. His upside is phenomenal. He's been playing like 24 minutes a game, which is less than ideal, but even when he has been, he's been able to get up to like 43 points at times, and I think that's the kind of upside you could see out of him. A little bit less than ideal from a minutes aspect, but from an upside aspect, I do think he kind of tops the list here in those limited minutes. Nicholas Claxton expected to be back in this rotation, possibly, though, is the scariest thing. And so far, it has been Drummond. It's just, you never know when they're going to pull the trigger and switch that out. Running it back on the other side for Boston, you have Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Robert Williams. Now we have Derek White in the equation. They're fully healthy. It's a little bit dicey. I do think my favorite option is going to be Jaylen Brown based upon his price tag and upside. A little bit cheaper than Jason Tatum at 8.5. Well, pretty significantly cheaper. 9.7 for Jason Tatum, 8.5 for Jaylen Brown. I do think he kind of matches his upside. And then Robert Williams at 7.4. Whenever he's been able to get a decent allotment of minutes, we know the kind of upside that this guy possesses, so another guy I'd be looking to on the Boston side of things. Atlanta taking on Chicago. Going to be a fast, up-tempo, fun game here. It comes in with a 234.5 over-under. It's a 4-point spread in favor of the Chicago Bulls, so definitely going to have some interest in the big three in Chicago now. Zach LaVine being back, so just keep that in mind. That is going to take a bit of a hit to a Nikola Vucevic, to a DeMar DeRozan, but still really going to like these guys. The problem is Vuce and DeRozan are priced way up for as if LaVine was going to be out in this one. that's where things get a little bit scary for me. Do I really want to pay these price tags? I'm not too sure that I do. So for me, I'd probably be loading up on Zach LaVine the most in this game, 8-7, just priced way more reasonably. I think he has similar upside as those guys. So loading up on Zach LaVine makes a lot of sense to me tonight. The other guys, you can mix and blend. Definitely don't play both of them at those price tags unless you're fading LaVine, and even then, that's a little bit dicey for me. But play one of the two of those guys, and then running it back on the other side, Trae Young, obviously going to be the top usage candidate on the Atlanta side. Definitely going to be liking him. Their minutes are starting to become a little bit more solidified in this rotation, but Kevin Huerter, Hunter, definitely the following two options I'd be looking to. They're getting the most minutes at a 4.6 and a 4.5 price tag, respectively. The upside's certainly there for them to be able to surpass these price tags. Huerter, 4.6, playing around 25 to 30 minutes a game, can really shoot it from behind the three-point arc when he gets hot. DeAndre Hunter, same thing, playing around 30 minutes a game. Bogdanovich off the bench at 5.4, certainly a high-usage guy that can have some upside. He's put up 41, 39, 31, and 38 DraftKings points. Once again, great option in Danilo Gallinari at 4.4, looking pretty intriguing as well. Then lastly, Clint Capella. Clint Capella's minutes were being limited for quite some time there. And then John Collins went down the injury. We saw him play 31 minutes in back-to-back games. Then the last game turned into a blowout. I do think there's some more upside for minutes if indeed John Collins continues to be out. Currently listed as questionable and more so doubtful. So I do think that Clint Capella is kind of a risk-reward play that could pay off for you in your tournament lineups. Don't hate going to him. On the Chicago side, really looking to lock in on the big three with them being back. They just soak up so much usage that the other guys aren't going to be looking quite as friendly. Memphis taking on Minnesota is the next game on the slate. Comes in with a 240 over-under. It's a 2.5-point spread in favor of the Memphis Grizzlies, so expected to stay close. Expected to be very fast and up-paced, and for that reason, going to love Ja Morant in this spot at a 10-4 price tag. Absolute phenomenal play. Playing in the mid to upper 30s anytime it's a competitive game. Last time competitive game against Portland, 38 minutes, 69 DraftKings points. That's kind of upside that this guy's capable of. Gets another fantastic, fast up-tempo game. His team has a 121.25 implied team total. Going to make a lot of sense to be going to a lot of Ja Morant on this slate tonight, so definitely going to like him. And I'm definitely going to like Jaren Jackson Jr. and Desmond Bane for as long as Dillon Brooks remains out. These two guys, the 2 and 3 options. I mean, specifically Desmond Bane and Ja Morant, just going to be phenomenal plays until we see Dillon Brooks get back in the rotation. The shooting volume is going to be there for these guys. The upside is going to be there for these guys. And Desmond Bane is a lot cheaper than Ja Morant, so love loading up on those guys. And then running it back on the other side with Minnesota. Once again, another big three. It's pretty simple. It's Anthony Edwards, it's D'Angelo Russell, it's Karl-Anthony Towns. Those are the three that I'm looking to lock in on. Anthony Edwards and D'Angelo Russell would be my favorite at 7-7 and 7.5. Fresh off the All-Star break, should have fresh legs. The price tags are just very friendly. They do have some very similar fantasy point per minute outputs to Karl-Anthony Towns, and Karl-Anthony Towns is priced way up. So for me, if I'm playing Cat, I'm only playing one of D'Angelo Russell and Anthony Edwards. If I'm fading Cat, I can play D'Lo and Anthony Edwards. Just keep in mind with the upside and the negative correlation there of those plays. Phoenix taking on the Oklahoma City Thunder is the next game on the slate. This game comes in with a 215.5 over-under. It is a 9.5-point spread in favor of the Phoenix Suns. And there's no Chris Paul in this game, which is going to make Aaron Holiday a value play. But specifically for me, I'm going to be wanting to load up on all the Devin Booker. I think Devin Booker is going to be an usage monster with no Chris Paul. I think he could have a monster second half here. And there's no way I see his price tag staying at 8.8 the rest of the second half. So I'm going to be looking to jump on it immediately, right away. Love Devin Booker at 8.8, so that's the first guy that I'll talk about here. And I do think that DeAndre Ayton becomes a much more intriguing play as well. Not directly correlated with Chris Paul as far as the guard positional eligibility, but you take Chris Paul out of the equation, there's going to be more shots to go around. There's going to be more volume to go around. I think DeAndre Ayton's the second man in line for that, so I love him. And of course, the other wingmates. Mikal Bridges is certainly going to be interesting. Jay Crowder is certainly going to be much more interesting than he was with Chris Paul in the equation. Cam Johnson certainly going to be more interesting. So mixing and matching those guys, definitely don't mind it. But Devin Booker by far the top priority for me on this team. Cam Johnson off the bench as a sixth man certainly is intriguing. And then running it back on the other side, it's really simple when it comes to OKC. If the game's going to stay close, it's two guys. It's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. It's Josh Giddey to run things at the top. They're the most obvious candidates if this thing's going to stay close. They get a tough matchup taking on the Phoenix Suns that grades out as one of the top defensive teams in the league. I will say, looking at my defensive half-court and putbacks tool, Phoenix currently grades out as the third best team in the league in points per possession rank, fourth best in the half-court points per play rank. Just a really good defense, so that's a little bit less than ideal. And for that reason, honestly, I'm not going to have too much interest in these guys, but the usage and the minutes are there is the thing. So, I don't know, I could bite my words there. I might have some interest in them as I'm building and figuring out where my salary's falling. Darius Bazley also getting a lot of minutes is certainly an intriguing play. And, those would be the three guys I'm really looking to lock in on the Oklahoma City side. Denver taking on Sacramento, going to be a really fast up-tempo game. It's certainly one that I want to have a lot of interest in. It's a 231.5 over/under, 4.5 point spread in favor of the Denver Nuggets. On the King side, pretty simple for me. I'm going to be wanting to load up on all the Domantas Sabonis and De'Aaron Fox exposure. Both guys going to have a ton of usage, ton of upside in this new build Sacramento King squad. Love De'Aaron Fox, love Domantas Sabonis. I do think that Harrison Barnes is a solid number 3 option as well, but not nearly the upside that those two guys have. Obviously, he's cheaper, so just keep that in mind. But really want to be loading up on a ton of De'Aaron Fox, a ton of Domantas Sabonis in this spot. And then running it back on the other side with the Denver side, obviously Nikola Jokic, phenomenal play. I think he's the top half option on this slate without even blinking an eye. He's 12.5, best fantasy point per minute producer in the league, and he gets to take on a Sacramento's King squad. That's one of the best possible matchups you could possibly ask for. So I love Nikola Jokic, and I think his secondary options in Will Barton and Aaron Gordon at 5'8 and 5'6 respectively are also really great plays here. Really cheap, lots of upside in this spot, and the same can be said for Monte Morris, last guy on the slate. So a little bit negatively correlated, but I do think that the Monte Morris, Aaron Gordon, and Will Bartons of the world are priced cheap enough to where you could probably play them with Nikola Jokic, and they could all get you there in this matchup. It's just the way that the pricing grades out. So I don't hate it. Rashawn Holmes off the bench is only 3.7 now. We've seen his minutes cut way down. Maybe interesting. I don't know. The rotation, like I said, I just feel really confident just going with Sabonis and Fox on the Sacramento side. That's what I'm going to be looking to in this one. And lastly, we got the Golden State Warriors taking on the Portland Trailblazers. This game comes in with a 223.5 over/under. It's a 9.5 point spread in favor of the Golden State Warriors. Expect to be a decently paced game. Anthony Simmons, Justice Winslow, Josh Hart, Trendon Watford going to be really interesting on the Portland Trailblazers. With there being no Yusuf Nurkic, we didn't have that news before the salaries were released. He's only 3.4 on DraftKings. That's going to be a really great price tag for Watford. He's one of the best value plays on the slate, so I certainly like going to him. And then Anthony Simmons, Josh Hart going to have a lot of usage now. Both guys going to have massive ceilings, 8-1, 7-2, respectively for those two guys. Lots of interest in them. They get a tough matchup, and the same can be said for Justice Winslow. Tough matchup taking on the Golden State Warriors team that ranks number 1 in the league overall in points per possession rank. But the usage is there. The price tags haven't quite adjusted. I think it's enough to where we can just bypass the matchup and go with these guys here. So I like going with them. And then running it back on the other side with Golden State, they also get, one of the best matchups in the world. Portland's been really bad defensively. You take Yusuf Nurkic out of the equation. Should be really easy to get the rim. Stephen Curry at 10-2, not quite as good of a play at that 10-2 price tag as he would be if some of these guys on the Golden State side were out. They're fully healthy right now. Draymond Green's out, so that continues to be a thing. But Klay Thompson and Andrew Wiggins just priced much more friendlier than Stephen Curry. And I think they do have the upside to get you there at these price tags. $6K for Andrew Wiggins, really, really cheap. 6.7 for Klay Thompson. Certainly piquing my interest in this one. So that's my overall breakdown, guys. Of course, we got to talk about FanDuel as well. I think we just got a pretty good overall grasp of the slate, but pricing discrepancy. So point guard position, Ja Morant at 10K, certainly going to have a lot of interest in him. We talked about him. De'Aaron Fox at 8.6, love him. D'Angelo Russell, Anthony Simmons, going to be great plays. Cade Cunningham at 6K, really, really cheap over here on FanDuel. Love that play for sure. So those are some point guard options to be looking to early on. Shooting guard options, DeMar DeRozan price way up. That's a little bit dicey. I love Devin Booker, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander at 9K, great play. Anthony Edwards at 8.1, Zach LaVine at 7.9, phenomenal play. Jaylen Brown at 7.9, we talked about him. Simmons, Russell, Giddey, once again, we already talked about them. Josh Hart at 7K, talked about him. Desmond Bane, with there being no Dylan Brooks, I do think is an intriguing option. 6.2 for Klay Thompson, he's a great play. Seth Curry going to have a lot of usage. Will Barton in that really fast up-tempo game at Sacramento, only 5.4, great tournament play. Small forward position, we're looking to, Josh Hart, Darius Bazley, Justice Winslow, we talked about those guys. Desmond Bane, Jaylen Brown, Anthony Edwards, already talked about them. Andrew Wiggins, Jay Crowder now, with there being no Chris Paul, DeAndre Hunter, kind of, this is kind of what stuff we already talked about. The pricing's kind of similar. Domantas Sabonis at 9.6 at the power forward position, phenomenal play. Robert Williams at 7.8, phenomenal play. Allen and Mobley, Jaren Jackson, Darius Bazley. Al Horford at 6.1, decent. Isaiah Stewart at 5.6, Jeremiah Grant at 5.9 on the Detroit side. Those guys are really cheap on both websites. So we talked about those cheap Detroit guys. And in the center position, I like Nikola Vucevic quite a bit in that fast up-tempo game against Atlanta. Nikola Jokic, top half option on the slate. Karl-Anthony Towns in that fast up-tempo game for sure. DeAndre Ayton, with there being no Chris Paul. Andre Drummond, really good fantasy point producer with limited minutes, though. Clint Capella is an interesting tournament option. And, yeah, I think we did a pretty good job of covering the slate overall, guys. So feeling good about it. If you enjoyed this content, guys, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future content that I upload. Sign up for the premium content package over here at patreon.com/KJK_DFS. And if you haven't checked out the sponsor of the program, PrizePicks, go ahead and check them out. Use that promo code KJK DFS when you sign up today to receive an instant max deposit up to $100, guys. So, before I let you guys go, of course, I got to give you my lock of the night. Let's get into it. And my lock of the night tonight is going to be DeAndre Ayton taking on this Oklahoma City front court in this game with no more Chris Paul. The usage is going to take a bump up and the matchup is looking great. Taking on the likes of Isaiah Roby defense, that does not scare me whatsoever. And looking at how Oklahoma City grades out overall against the big man position and what they're allowing for putbacks, 25th overall in putbacks in a league that's bottom 5, 21st in half-court percentage of plays rank, 18th in offensive rebounding percentage given up. The usage, the offensive rebounds, the matchup, once again, looking very, very good for DeAndre Ayton with his team having a 112.5 implied team total. Love the price tag as well. Everything matching up here. Get him in your lineups because he is my lock of the night. So there we go, guys. DeAndre Ayton, get him in your lineups. And that is all from me in this one. Once again, if you enjoyed this content, guys, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future content that I upload. Wishing you guys all the best of luck on this slate tonight. And we will see you in the next one.